Very good morning. Hope all are doing good. Children, till my last session, I have discussed about two factors of ecology. Actually, you know very well, ecology has four different types of factors: climatic factors, atopic factors, topographic factors, and biotic factors. Among these four, I have completed two factors such as climatic factors and atopic factors. Now I am going to discuss with you about the topographic factors. What is topographic factors? The surface features of earth are called topography. Topography influence on the climate of any area is determined by the interaction of solar radiation, temperature, humidity, rainfall, latitude and altitude. It affects the vegetation through climatic variation in small areas and even changes the soil conditions also. Topographic factors include latitude, altitude, direction of mountain, steepness of mountain, etc. So here we are going to discuss about these four also. That is latitude and altitude, direction of mountain, steepness of mountain. These four we are going to discuss under the topographic factors. Okay. So this topographic influence the climatic of any area that you know very well. This is determined by the interaction of solar radiation, temperature, humidity, rainfall, latitude and altitude. Okay. These features affect the vegetation through climatic variation in small areas and even changes the soil conditions also. So there are four topographic factors we are going to discuss here: latitude, altitude, direction of mountain and steepness of mountains, etc. Let's see about latitude and altitude. You know very well what is latitude, what is altitude. Latitude represents the distance from equator, to the either side of the pole is called what? Latitude. See, temperature values are maximum at the equator and decreases gradually towards the poles. Okay, you know very well the temperature values are more in the equator region. When it is moves towards the poles on either side of the equator, it becomes reduced. Okay, so gradually it become low, and this is a condition of what? Latitude. Different types of vegetation occur from equator to poles, which are illustrated below. Okay, you know very well, based on the temperature, the vegetation also varies. So this you have get from the diagram given below, children. Please go through it. And next see about altitude. See, height above the sea level from the altitude. Height above the sea level from the altitude is called what? Forms the altitude. Height above the sea level forms the altitude. At high altitude, the velocity of wind remains high, temperature and air pressure decreases, while humidity and intensity of light also increases. Due to this factor, vegetation at different altitudes varies, showing distinct zonation. So the same way, when the height increase from the sea level, gradually the wind level has increased and the temperature, air pressure, humidity, light all getting increased. So based on this factors, there is different vegetation has been seen. Based on this vegetation, there is a distinct zonation will be seen in the altitude also. Next one is direction of mountain. North and south faces of mountain or hill possess different types of flora and fauna because they differ in their humidity, rainfall, light intensity, light duration and temperature regions. Okay. So that's what north and south faced mountain hills possess different types of flora and fauna. Why the north and south faces of mountains possess different types of flora and fauna? Give reason. Okay, you will have a set 2 mark question. This is because they have a differ in their humidity, rainfall, light intensity, light duration and temperature region. That's what there is a different types of flora and fauna we can see in the regions. Okay, see here ecotone and edge effect, it's a 2 mark question. What is ecotone? Ecotone is a transition zone between the two ecosystem. Example, the border between the forest and grassland. 2-mark question. That is a transition zone. What is mean by transition zone? That is the region between the two different ecosystem. That is called what? Transition zone. This transition zone is called ecotone. And example for ecotone, border between the forest and grassland. Next one is edge effect. Species found in ecotone areas are unique due to the effect of the two habitats. This is called not species. Here not a species. This it's given as a wrong. It is a species. The species found in the ecotone areas are unique due to the effect of the two habitats. Isn't it or what? Yes, already I have discussed with you that ecotone is what? Transition zone between the two ecosystem, between the two various ecosystem. So, this is a border. Hence, in the border, there are two different types of habitat we can find. So, the organisms or species which live in the ecotone should adapt to this two habitat. So, they are unique. So, this is called what? Edge effect. Example, all in the ecotone area between forest and grassland. Next, the two faces of the mountain or hill receive different amount of solar radiation, wind action and rain. Of these two faces, the windward region possesses good vegetation due to heavy rains and leeward region possesses poor vegetation due to rain shadow, that is rain deficit. See, the mountain has two regions. One is windward region, another one is leeward region. In windward region, it possesses a good vegetation due to heavy rainfall. But in leeward region, it possesses poor vegetation due to the rain shadow. Then similarly, in the soil of aquatic bodies like ponds, the center and edges possess different depth of water due to soil slope and different wave action in the water body. Therefore, different parts of the same area may possess different species of organisms. Okay. Next one is steepness of the mountains. You know very well. By this diagram, you can know what is steepness. See, the steepness of the mountain or hill allows the rain to run off. Isn't it or what? When the mountain is very high, it possesses a very steepness. So, when rain fall on the steepness, it will not stay in the mountain itself. It run off from the mountain. So, the steepness of the mountains cannot retain the water in the soil. So, the water deficit has taken place and vegetation is poor So, that is what discussed here. But on this opposite, opposite to this is what? Rich in vegetation in plain areas. In plain areas, there is a rain. The soil hold the rainwater and water level in the earth will be more and good vegetation has taken place. So, rich in vegetation in plain areas, that is why. But in steepness of the mountains, the steepness of a mountain cannot retain the rainwater. The rainwater is a runoff. That is what it cannot retain the water. And the water cannot enter or percolates into the soil. So, the vegetation will be poor. So, that is what discussed here. The steepness of the mountain or hill allows the rain to run off. As a result, the loss of water causes water deficit and quick erosion of the topsoil and resulting in the poor vegetation. So, another thing, the runoff water not only causes a deficit of water and also causes a soil erosion. You know very well the topsoil is rich in fertility and possesses the humus. Due to soil erosion, the topsoil that is rich fertilizers will be eroded off. Okay, that's what the fertility also very less and the poor vegetation has taken place. On the other hand, the plains and valley are rich in vegetation due to the slow drain of surface water and better retention of water in the soil. Next, so we completed the topographic factors. Now I am entering into our fourth factors called biotic factors. Hope you know very well biotic factors. That is the organism which has life are called what? Biotic factors, isn't it? The interaction among living organisms such as plants and animals are called biotic factors which may cause a marked effect upon the vegetation. So what does mean by biotic factors? The interaction among living organisms such as plants and animals are called biotic factors which may cause marked effect on upon the vegetation. The effects may be direct and indirect and modifies the environment. The plant mostly which lives together in a community and influence one another. Similarly, animals in association with plants also affect the plant life in one or several ways. So, the different interaction among them can be classified into following two types. They are positive interaction and negative interaction. Okay, children. So, you know very well biotic factors. What is mean by biotic factors? The interaction among the living organism. What are the living organisms such as plants and animals are called biotic factors. This interaction may cause a marked effect on the vegetation. So, the effects may be direct or indirect. So, the plants mostly which lives together in a community and influence one another. Yes, of course. Plants always live in a community, and when they are live in a community, one influence the other. The plants more, and then similarly animals in association with the plants. Some animals are associated with the plants and also affect the plant life in one or several ways. So here the interaction are divided into two types, children. One is positive interaction, another one is negative interaction. Let's see positive interaction. What does mean by positive interaction? When two organisms living together, then no organism will be harmed among the two. Okay, so that is called positive interaction. What is negative interaction? When a two organisms living together in one or some for some reasons, either one organism or two organism may be harmed. That is called what? Negative interaction. So here among the positive interaction, we are going to see two things. One is mutualism, another one is commensalism. See, what is positive interaction? Let's see. When one or both the participating species are benefited, it is positive interaction. Example, mutualism and commensalism. Mutualism, it is an interaction between two species of organisms in which both are benefited from the obligate association. The following are common examples of mutualism. The following are common examples of mutualism. First one is nitrogen fixation. Mutualism for example for mutualism is nitrogen fixation. You know very well, children, this nitrogen fixation, the bacterium rhizobium which resides inside the nodules of the leguminous plants roots and which are symbiotically benefited. What does mean by symbiotic benefit? Both the organisms have getting benefited. See, rhizobium bacterium which lives inside the roots of leguminous plant, isn't it? So when it resides inside the leguminous plants, bacterium getting nutrient and shelter from the leguminous plant. Okay. On the other hand, bacteria will do a favor for leguminous plant by a way that it fixes the atmospheric nitrogen into the soil. It fixes atmospheric nitrogen into the soil. And because of that soil get fertility and the roots get nitrogen from the soil. So in that way both are benefited. This is called what? Symbiotic mode of life. What this is called what? Mutualism. So here let's enter into the text, children. Rhizobium, it's a bacterium, form nodules in the roots of leguminous plant and lives symbiotically. The rhizobium obtain a food from leguminous plant and in turn fix atmospheric nitrogen into nitrate, making it available to host plant. First of all, we must know what is host. The organism where it live, whether it may be a plant or animal, it is called host. If a bacteria reside inside our body, we are the host. Okay, if bacteria living inside the plant body, any of the plant body or animal body or X or Y organism, and that is called what? Host. Like that, host we can define. So here in a tablet column, you will get a different types of interaction, positive interaction, negative interaction. These all please you go through by yourself, children. And let me complete the examples and other things given in our text. Okay, other examples are for mutualism are water fern, that is Asula, and nitrogen fixing cyanobacteria Anabaena. So Anabaena present in a coralloid roots of Cycas, gymnosperm also example for symbiotic life, that is mutualism. Cyanobacterium, that is nostoc, found in the thalide body of Anthoceras bryophytes. Then was present in fruits of fig. Lichen is a mutual association of an algae and a fungus. Roots of terrestrial plants and fungal hyphae, that is mycorrhiza, is an example for what? These are several examples for mutualism. Next we are going to start commensalism. So what we understood by mutualism, both when two organisms interact together, both are getting benefited. This is called what? Mutualism. What is commensalism? It is an interaction between two organisms in which one is benefited and the other one is neither benefited nor harmed. Then species that it derives benefits is called commensal, while the other species is called what? Host. The common example of commensalism are listed below. Okay, hope you could understand about commensalism. When interaction between two organisms taken place, one is benefited, other is neither benefited nor harmed. So the species benefits is called commensal and the other species is called host. That's it. Okay. So the example for commensalism is given epiphytes. The plant which are found growing on other plant without harming them are called what? Epiphytes. Okay. The plants which are found growing on other plants without harming are called epiphytes. They are commonly found in the tropical rainforest. Where they are found? They are commonly found in the tropical rainforest. The epiphytic higher plants gets its nutrient and water from the atmosphere with the help of hygroscopic roots which contain a special type of spongy tissue called filament tissue. See, the epiphytic higher plant gets its nutrient and water from the atmosphere. Actually, plant which live on other plant. Okay, right. It is called epiphytes. When it live on other plant, it will not cause any harm to the host body, right? So then how the plant gets nutrient? See, the plant possesses a special type of tissue called filament tissue in its root. It is spongy in nature. This spongy tissues absorb the atmospheric water and nutrient. With the help of atmospheric water and nutrient, it make a photosynthesis and prepare its own food. It just resides on it. It will not get any nutrient or water from the host. And it prepare its own food and does not depend on the host. Using the host plant only, they support and does not harm it in any way. Then many orchids, ferns, lianas, hanging mosses, peperomia, money plant and usnea, that is like lichen, or some of the example of epiphytes. Spanish moss, Tillandsia grows on the bark of oak and pine trees. Protocooperation. What is protocooperation? An interaction between organisms of different species in which both organism benefits but neither is dependent on the relationship. Example, soil bacteria, fungi and plants growing in the soil. This is called what? Protocooperation to Marcosin. So far we have discussed about positive interaction. Among under this topic we have seen two things. One is mutualism, another one is commensalism. Now we are going to see negative interaction. When one of the interacting species is benefited and the other is harmed, it is called what? Negative interaction. Example, predation, parasitism, competition and amensalism. What is predation? It is an interaction between two species, one of which capture, kill and eats of the other, and the species which kills is called predator, and the species which is killed is called a prey. The predator is benefited while the prey is harmed. That's all. So under negative interaction, when two species living together, one is affected, one is benefited. The species which is affected is called prey, and the species which is benefited is called predator, and this kind of interaction is called negative interaction. Example: predation, parasitism, competition, amensalism. Under predation, among the two interaction between two species, one of which capture, kill and eat upon the other. So the species which is killed is called predation, and the species the species which kills is called predator, killed is called prey. So the predator is benefited while the prey is harmed. A number of example is given here, children. A number of plants like Drosera, that is sundew plant, Nepenthes pitcher plant, Dionia Venus flytrap, Atricularia bladderwort, and Sarracenia or predators which consume insect and other small animals for their food as a source of nitrogen. They are also called as insectivorous plant. Okay, the plant which act as a common solism, or name some plant which act as a common solism, you will get as a 2 mark question. Okay, children, as it has a 4 plant as insectivorous plant, you will get answer 2 mark for this. Okay, what are the 4 plant? Drosera, Nepenthes, Dionia, Atricularia, then Sarracenia also. These are the 4 insectivorous plant or predator plant. Example for predation. Okay, so many herbivores are predators only. Cattle, camels, goats, etc. frequently browse on the tender shoots of herbs, shrubs and trees. Generally, annuals suffer more than the perennials. Grazing and browsing may cause remarkable changes in vegetation. Nearly 25% of all insects are known as phytophagus, feed on plant sap and other parts of the plant. Okay, and many defense mechanisms are evolved to avoid their predation by plants. Example: Calotropis produces highly poisonous cardiac glycosides. Tobacco produces nicotine. Coffee plant produces caffeine. Then cinchona plant produces quinine. Thorns of bougainvillea, spines of opuntia, latex of cacti also protect them from predators. Okay, so these are some substances produced by the respective plants to protect themselves from the predators. Okay, next one is parasitism. What is parasitism? You know very well. It is an interaction between two different species in which smaller partner is called parasite obtain food from the larger partner, that is host or plant. So the parasite species is benefited while the host species is harmed. Based on the host parasite relationship, parasitism is 2 types: holoparasite and hemiparasite. Holoparasite means what? The entire life depends on a parasite. Lead as a parasite, that is called holoparasite. Hemi means what? Partially it lead as a parasite, partially it lead as a non-parasite. Okay, so the organism which are dependent upon the host plant for their entire nutrition are called holoparasite. They are also called as total parasite. Example for total parasite: Cuscuta is a total stem parasite of the host plant Acacia Turanta and many other plants. Then Cuscuta even gets flower including hormone from its host plant. Then Belanopora, Orapanchi and Rafflesia are the total root parasites found in higher plant. Okay. Next, hemiparasites, the organism which derives only water and minerals from their host plant while synthesizing their own food by photosynthesis. It is called what? Hemiparasites. They are also called as partial parasite. Example: so the organism which derive only water and minerals from the host body, and with the help of water and minerals it make their own food by photosynthesis, hence it is called hemiparasites or partial parasite. Viscum and Loranthus are partial stem parasite. Xanthalum is a partial root parasite. The parasitic plants produce the hostorial roots inside the host plant to absorb nutrient from the vascular tissue of the host plant. Okay. Next one is competition. It is another type of negative interaction. It is an interaction between two organisms or species in which both the organisms or species are harmed. Competition is the severest in population that has irregular distribution. Competition divided into two types, intraspecific and interspecific. Intraspecific competition, it is an interaction between individual of the same species. This competition is very severe because all the members of the species have similar requirements of food, habitat, pollination, etc., and they also have similar adaptation to fulfill their needs. Then interspecific competition, it is an interaction between individuals of the different species. In grassland, many species of grasses grow well as there is a little competition when enough nutrients and water is available. During drought shortage of water, a life and death competition start among the different species of grassland. Survival in both this competition is determined by the quantity of nutrients, availability of water and migration to new areas. So, different species of herbivores, larvae and grasshopper competing for food or forage plants. Trees, shrubs and herbs in a forest struggle for sunlight, water and nutrient and also for pollination and dispersal of fruits and seeds. Then the Articularia bladderwort compete with the tiny fishes for small crustaceans and insects. So, last one is amensalism. It is interspecific interaction in which one species is inhibited while the other species is neither benefited nor harmed. So, the inhibition is achieved by the secretion of certain chemicals called allelopathic substance. Amensalism is called antibiosis. Penicillium notatum produces penicillin to inhibit the growth of variety of bacteria, especially Staphylococcus. Trichoderma inhibit the growth of fungus Aspergillus. Roots and hulls of black walnut Jacquelins nigra secrete an alkaloid jacqueline which inhibit the growth of seedling of apple, tomato and alfalfa around it. So, this is called what? So far I have discussed about biotic factors. So, children, today I will stop with this and you go through the things, examples, what is the table, you go through that. It is given as a homework for children, for you children, and for each interaction you will get many examples. These examples you will have as a questions. Please sure of that and complete today's portion as a homework, and I will meet you in my next class. Bye children.